Time for another season of racing. 15 more events for the fourth season of Turn Down for What Xfinity Series from iRacing's Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I'm Rick James, joined by the man, the myth, the legend, repeat 1975 in the booth. Pete, it's time for another season of racing. Jose Ruiz and Zach Meredith starting out on the right foot. They will be starting on the front row for these 123 laps at Vegas.
Rick James, this pace car is about ready to pull off already. The season is getting underway. Everybody's betting on Black that they're going to be the season champ when it's all said and done. Speaking of season champs, the one and only Boehner, his presence has not gone unnoticed. Rick, we're going green.
Green flag is out and a new season is underway. The Turn Down for What Xfinity Series begins its new campaign. Let's go racing. New season, new leader. First lap, it's the 2-3 DuPont Chevy of Jose Ruiz, the 2-4 Storm Chevrolet of Cole Snyder sitting in second, and it's Chevrolets in the top three. Zach Meredith in the National Guard, 17, sitting in third. Pete?
Yeah, Zach Meredith doing a phenomenal job. He was actually very, very fast in practice, both him and Hunter Peach, able to lay down the two fastest time. Jose Ruiz able to get that lap when it really mattered. He was up there for the pole, as we just saw him be the first one to get on the loud pedal, and so far so good. But Rick James, this race is not going to be about who can put down 10 fast laps. This track is going to be about who is going to be able to preserve their tires the most. I heard some people say 10 laps, some say 15 laps. If you can make them work, you're going to be the one on the long run. That's the one that may be standing on stage at the end singing with old Wayne Newton.
Drivers already thinking strategy, Pete. We're not even 4 laps into this new season, and already the strategy going through the minds. Cindy Thompson in the chat says, go number 22, Jay Arnold, cheering on for J. Paul Arnold in the number 22 Southern Beverage Ford. Further up in the chat, Matt L. is here. Atlanta Racing was here earlier tonight. Bod Fusion and NNR Bowling putting in 38 bids. That's Matt Boone to you, the Wisconsin pilot, sitting in the 6th spot ahead of J-Paw. 1 spot back, the 45 and the 19 nose to tail. That's Jonah Bybee in the 4-5 Monster Supra. Jake Millsap back for another season of fun in the 19. Pete.
Yep, then you're going to have old Brad Rivers in a very, very familiar number 69. Byron Jones, brand new team for both him and Jeff Noe. Stout Whiskies look like we're going to have a car around, just plowed that inside wall.
Chris Murphy in the 2-1 getting the brunt of that accident, and he slams his Chevrolet into the inside wall, and that's going to, well, we're going to stay green here. Jose Ruiz now coming around, leading lap number 5. The 2-3 still ahead. Looks like Papa Bear Campbell might have gotten a piece of that one. The 71 Samstown Ford now sitting 27th of 28 cars. Not a good start for Chris Murphy, but luckily it's only the first race. Corey Blevins in that 4-8 Blevins Design Chevrolet going green, his fastest lap, a 31.29. Pete, it looks like among the top 5, drivers have finally settled in, but further on back, it's 2x2, 6 rows deep.
Yeah, 2x2, Rick, there's that hornet's nest that we talk about after the first, several cars. There's a couple there kind of right in the middle between the first group of leaders and then the, I don't want to say back markers because nobody here's a back marker, although there's more trouble now in the back again.
And there's 3, 4, 5 cars involved in this one. Smoke pouring through. The track is blocked in turn number 3. Jim Coey, Jake Millsap, Papa Bear Campbell slowly going through this one. And when Chris Murphy crashed by himself, no yellow, but this time 4 or 5 cars involved, and that yellow comes out. The 21 of Murphy getting a break after his accident, and this is going to give us a chance to look at both incidents. Caution is out for the first time this season. Let's go back to lap 5, Pete. Keep your eye on that 2-1. The offer pad Supra of Chris Murphy. Oh, look at that. Brad Rivers bounces off the wall. Nowhere for Murphy to go. And looking at this second accident, this is 2 laps later on lap 7. Look at that, cars already flying through the air, and it looks like it started with Byron Jones in that 44, Pete. Not a great start for Byron with his new team.
No, Byron, he was up on 2 wheels, just kind of bouncing around a little bit. I think I saw the 2 of Stout Whiskey make it through there, though, on the low side. I imagine there's going to be quite a few people using their fast repair here pretty early in this race. We're only 6 or 7 laps in so far.
Let's take a look further on back. It looks like the 4-5 may have been involved in this one. This is coming through the 4th corner now. Let's see if we can get just a bit further up. This is the 14 here, and honestly, Pete, it just looked like the 19 of Jake Millsap was involved with the 45 of Noah Bybee, and just nowhere for any of these drivers to survive. But give a shout out to the driver of the 1-0, Ryan McCall. He just squeaked through this accident here. Keep your eye on that 1-0. Right there, just avoiding the 9 of Enrique Quiñones. McCall survives all of that, and for that right there, Ryan McCall earns the first Cole Trickle move of the race.
Ice cream!
So we're still under caution, Pete, with Cole Snyder being scored as the race leader. What do you think about that first 10 laps? Obviously, it's a little strange shaking the dust off of so much. Is it jitters, or is this what we can expect tonight at Vegas?
Well, throughout practice and even a little bit earlier today, I was watching a few people really try to turn a bunch of laps, and it was getting tighter and tighter and tighter. I heard some people down, with a wheel setting of about 10. Others were up near 14 and 16, and the lower you got on that wheel setting, it was getting tight sooner and sooner. And I mentioned it right as these guys were going green. Who was going to be able to hold it for about 10 laps, and who was going to be more consistent and conserve as much as they could to be there later on. I think we might have just seen somebody getting really tight and just nowhere to go.
We're going to take this first break to take a 30-second break. We'll be back immediately for that green flag. Don't go anywhere. Getting ready to go once again. This time it's Cole Snyder and Corey Blevins on that front row, waiting for that signal. Green flag. There it is. Let's go racing once again from Vegas. Jeff Noe in that number 2. Well, look at that. That looks familiar on the front of his car. Pete, what's Jeff Noe doing up there?
Jeff Noe having both him and Byron, they've decided to go ahead and join a team that I started up, just Patriot Esports. And yeah, I'm actually going to be paying these guys, believe it or not, based on how they race. If they're involved in an incident, but it's not of their own making, there's money in it for them. If they finish a top 5, they make some cash. If they win, they make some cash. They get the pole, lead a lap, lead most laps. There's there's cash in it for them. Man, I just want to have fun. I want these guys to get out there and get competitive and have a great time while racing. And that's what it's all about.
Josh Arnold leading this race with Jose Ruiz behind him by half a second. Cole Snyder's in that third spot in the 2-4, just to the inside of the 2-3. Zach Meredith and Cole Snyder also side by side. 2x2, 3 rows deep into the third corner. Drivers shaking off the rust from last season. Defending champion Jordan Bain not in the mix tonight, but we hope to see him later on through. Last season's runner-up, Hunter Peach, in the 2-6 M&M's Supra. He's riding on the outside of the top 20, and it looks like Hunter's not in too bad of a spot, Pete. We're only just a few laps into this season. Other drivers like Byron Jones decide to go purple with a 31.07. Teammates in the 4-4 and the 2 side by side into turn number 3. Jones getting a quick start. He's chasing down Shad Swatsworth in the number 1.
When you're talking about that 18 of Hunter Peach, I imagine we'll see this M&M's Mustang up towards, I believe, no, I'm sorry, Supra, up towards the front as this race goes on. Just like Jordan Bain that you just mentioned, he is very well known for being able to maintain his car, maintain his pace as he gets around the 19 of Millsap.
Cole Snyder in the number 2-4 Storm Chevy. He's rocking the inside line behind Jose Ruiz, the Rainbow Warrior 2-3 sitting in second. And it's J. Paul Arnold that they're all chasing down for first place. Zach Meredith all over the back end of the 2-4. Now Meredith goes to the high side. Pete, you mentioned before the break, some drivers are sitting at a 10 on their wheel, some are sitting at a 14 or a 16. What does that mean in terms of how the steering wheel behaves?
It's not necessarily how the steering wheel behaves, but basically the higher the wheel setting, the more movement you've got in the wheel, which means when you're getting into these very rough corners, it might actually help you save a little bit of tire for a long run, where if you're down on a 10, you're holding the wheel more. You're actually having to turn the wheel completely into the corner. You might put a little extra into the corner, which means you're gonna rub or you're gonna shred the tire a little bit more, which means you're going to get tighter, which means you're going to have to let off sooner, which means you're not going to be able to get back into the gas as quick as you want. It basically means that your race is going to fall apart pretty quickly. Now, if you are that low and we get to a 5-lap shootout, you're going to be the very possibly be the man on top. While some of these other guys, they're in it for the long run.
2-2 of J. Paul Arnold leading Zach Meredith, who's still side by side with Ruiz, but Arnold's lead is shrinking by the tenths. Riding along on the fender of J. Paul Arnold, he's watching the 17 and the 2-3 edge just a bit closer now. Looking from the fender of Zach Meredith, he's cleared Jose Ruiz for second. Meredith now on the offensive, 19 laps in.
Absolutely, here comes the 38 of old Matt Boone. He's not carrying the Coke colors tonight, but I tell you what, he's running just as aggressive as ever. And right behind him in P number 5 is going to be Kyle Taub. Cole Snyder very close, back in tow again.
We saw Kyle Taub last night in the B Water Series, did a good job at Auto Club, but he's doing a bit better now running in this top 5. Ruiz on the high side welcoming the purple front end of Taub on the back end of the top 5. Cole Snyder falling out of that top 5, and he's got Byron Jones all behind him. Rounding out the top 5, new driver this season, Andrew Baker in the 0-2 ahead of the 2 of Jeff No. And rounding out the top 15, Enrique Quinones, it's Q-Dog in the Michelob Ultra Southern Beverage Chevy.
New leader here, Rick James, 17 of Zach Meredith, able to get around his buddy. The double deuce of old J-Pa might actually change that to Angry Pa. Wasn't any contact, but I'm sure J-Pa didn't want to give it up, and it opened up the door for the 38 of Matt Boone. That's going to put the 22 back to P3.
Josh Arnold slipping back while Zach Meredith takes the top spot. Wisconsin's Matt Boone rocking the Badgers colors in that number 38. Keep your eyes open and hopefully no one strikes you in the face, Matt. He's looking to the inside of Zach Meredith in that 17. Of all the times we need just a Michigan-themed car out here, did you see Jawan Howard just aggressively caress that Wisconsin coach in the face? That was something else.
I didn't get a chance to see it, but by the way you're describing it, I might have to Google it later.
Yeah, some off-court skirmish between the Michigan and the Wisconsin coaches. It's worth it. But back to racing and the job at hand. You've got Andrew Baker, who's the new boy, falling outside of the top 10, but still holding tough in the 14th position. Jonah Bybee, another one of the new guys, rocking along with Rocky Top Wade and Grandpa Coey in the 27 and 66, respectively. We've got about 100 laps to go, Pete. As a driver, what are you looking to learn in these first 25, 30 laps? Surely for some of these new guys, the mission has to be hold on and survive.
Yeah, absolutely. And, these guys, if you're new, you've heard the stories about all last year, whether it was the truck, the Xfinity, whatever, about how many races there were where these guys successfully went just about all green. So you're learning what your car is going to be able to do in the long run, because everybody that's on track here is absolutely capable of it. We had just a quick caution at about lap 9, lap 10. These guys now working lap number 24, about to start, just started lap 24. They've got a little bit more of a green flag look to them, and more people trying to march their way to the front.
Jonah Bybee now in that top 20. Matt Boone, he's in the top 2, and he's 1/10 behind Zach Meredith. Kyle Taub also working his way into the podium positions. Josh Arnold 4th, and Byron Jones in 5th. Jose Ruiz rocking that 6th spot with Shad Swatsworth beside him. These drivers side by side. Swatsworth in that one car, the Tracker Boats Chevrolet, to the inside of Jose Ruiz. These drivers battling with each other, and I don't know what this is going to mean for pit stops, Pete. Drivers will be able to go between 30 and 40 green flag laps on one set of tires. Is this something that the drivers want to do this early? Is it healthy to figure out what this car can do under such early conditions?
Well, the 44 of Byron Jones right now, he's on 10-lap fresher tires because he came down to use that fast repair and come on out. So those tires right now, they're paying off for him, and they could pay off for a little bit more to come. When you're talking about Mr. Bybee in the back, Bybee is a great dirt racer. He's been on iRacing now for a few years, so he's got that experience. All this asphalt and concrete that we're up for here throughout this 15, 16-week schedule, it's going to be all brand new to him. So you want to talk about learning and a learning curve? I'm going to be very, very curious to see what Jonah Bybee is going to be capable of throughout the season.
The Fort Gibson native in the 4.5, that's Supra behind the 0.2 car. That's Andrew Baker. So you've got the new boys nose to tail down the back straight. A lot of work to go inside these final 100 laps, but Matt Boone doesn't mind. Let's ride along for one lap with the Wisconsin native. Let's see him attack first place. And just like that, Pete, a textbook pass, but it looks like Zach Meredith bit a bit too much of the cherry. One more look at that pass, the 17 car going a bit high, wide, and handsome, and Boone taking advantage with a textbook pass. Meredith losing control on the front straight and barely holding on to second, Pete. At those speeds, what can Meredith expect as far as damage-wise? Is it a scratch or possibly more?
Well, coming through the tri-oval, the entire track is curved right there, so it's very possible you might get a little bit more damage than you think. Hopefully not. He's definitely proven to have a very, very fast car, so we'll have to see if he drops, if it kicks him back, or if he's able to keep somewhat pace between Matt Boone and Kyle Taub.
Kyle Taub sitting 3/10 behind. A closer fight is Jose Ruiz in that 2-3. He's side by side with the 14 of Nate Lehman. The Ford Mustang brings it into the 6th spot, up 9 places from where he started. Second only to Rocky Top Wade in the number 27 Ford. Sam Wade to you now behind Jonah Bybee, looking to crack that top 15. And 3 drivers that didn't pit during that first caution, Pete. Josh Arnold in the 22, Cole Snyder in the 24, Corey Blevins in the 48 with 5 sets of tires, Pete. This looks to me like they're playing the conservation game early just in case we get some late race yellows.
Yeah, I mean, the 22 was the control car when we went back green now several laps back. So he's only fallen back to about, what, P8, P9, right around there. So not too bad by him. And, yeah, if he can maintain, stay inside the top 10, if at some point maybe he can get a lap in ahead of everybody else, maybe he'll be able to gain a couple spots getting on and coming off pit road, plus maybe use that fresh rubber in that first lap, gain just a little bit of time. Out there in chat, you got Explorian, your first time chat. Welcome. And he's saying he or she is saying, let's go 21. And of course, that's for old Christopher Murphy out there.
Chris Murphy, who had an incident on that fifth lap of action, now sitting 11th. Let's go back one more time because Murphy really just nosed the wall on lap number 5. Have a look. Murphy coming off that second corner just makes some contact with the 69 of Brad Rivers, the 44 of Byron Jones, and head first into the inside retaining wall. Now Chris sitting in the 11th spot, that number 2-1 Offer Pad Supra making up. Jonah Bybee now on the outside of Jeff Lednam and Rocky Top's Sam Wade. This is a fight for the top 13th position here. At the front, Matt Boone still leads. Further on back, you've got Steven Brynock in the 12th. Pete, he's another newcomer working on John Osborne for 18th.
Yep, looking in with the 81 of John Osborne right now. He's got Jarrett Manning, Steven Brynock, as you just said, Andrew Baker, but a little bit further back, Enrique Quinones. It's kind of odd to see the 9 car go outside the top 20. Usually this man is a driver on a mission. I'm going to guess maybe he's playing a strategy game as well, or just hasn't fallen off as much as or has fallen off a little bit more as than some others, I should say.
Explorian just following recently. Welcome, Explorian. Glad to have you here. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, my friend. If you've recently tuned in, I'm Rick James, and you're listening to Repeat by my side. And it looks like Bronskiberg 412 also following. Appreciate you, Bron. Thank you, man. Welcome to Rick James TV. I'm obviously Rick James, and then I've got Repeat 1975 by my side. Nate Lehman now behind Shad Swansworth. Good improvement for the 14 car, Pete. He's up 10 places from where he started.
Yeah, absolutely, and really putting a whole lot of pressure onto the back end of that one for Shad Swansworth. You see the 23 of Jose Ruiz just about, 3 or 4 tenths back. Jose, after starting on a pole, right now sitting in the P6 position.
Josh Arnold in the 2-2 trying to defend his 7th spot from Byron Jones on the outside, the number 44 U.S. Air Force Chevrolet trying to take down the double 2 for the 7th spot. Rocky Top Wade on the inside of Jonah Bybee. They've still been going hammer and tongs for several laps. These are drivers that pitted on lap 8, Pete, and one car's in the wall that looks like the 7 of Jarrett Manning, and it is the Duke Blue Devils Camaro now succumbing to the 37 of Jeff Lednam. He's not safe on the inside anymore, but the 7 of Manning looks like he's back under his own power comfortably in the 18th position. Further ahead, Pete, Shad barely holding off that 1-4, and Jose has joined the fight.
Yeah, Jose now all over the back end of that 14 of Nate Lehman, old commando grip back in the day. And you know what, Rick? If you're these 3 right now, you know that they've got a fast car. I'd actually want to maybe stick with each other and see if maybe you can use that draft that you're building up between yourselves to try to get up there and maybe try to catch Kyle, try to catch Zachary, and who knows, maybe even find yourself in the lead overtaking Matt Boone.
Jeff Lednam in 19th, just inside of the top 20. Andrew Baker being overtaken by Enrique Quinones, and Q-Dog now joins the top 20 drivers as well. Shad Swansworth not alone on the inside line. Nate Lehman in the number 14 Ford Mustang to his inside with some blinking issues there. Lehman having internet issues last night, some big ones that almost caused a massive accident. Hopefully he's got that under control tonight. Jose Ruiz in that 6 from Sacktown, California, now on the high side trying to get some sort of draft. 40 laps into this race, Pete. The cars are getting lighter. The tires are giving less and less grip in the corners. What's the first thing the driver does to counteract the ill-handling race car?
You can definitely adjust your brake bias a little bit, kind of turn that down. That way it kind of frees up the car to turn just a little bit more. I don't think we're going to see any kind of a loose condition out of these guys. I think it's going to be more and more tight. After about 10 to 15 laps, you're probably going to turn that to a -1. After about 20, 23 laps, maybe you're going to maybe turn that down another half or maybe another full measure to make sure that you still have all turnability left in these cars. But Rick James, that has to be completely unnerving for both the 1 and the 23 to have that 14 right in front and watch him continuously blink. You don't know where he's going to reappear, and I think that's actually what plagued the 7 earlier. He went up and smacked that wall, and just lucky enough, there's nobody right behind him.
Pit stop starting with Josh Arnold in pit road. Cole Snyder in that 2-4 following suit. You saw 2 laps prior, the 4-8 of Corey Blevins starting our cycle. Fans at home, on the bottom of your screen, you're going to see your favorite driver's last name abbreviated with 3 letters. The ticking time to the right of that name is their pit lane time. The blinking time inside the brackets is their total pit stop time. 38, 17, 16, your top 3. Kyle Taub now within 3 seconds of that silver medal spot. Jake Millsap now cracking the top 10. He's working on Jeff No for 8th.
Yeah, Jake Millsap always has fans out there in chat, no doubt. Then Jeff No actually looks like he's going to be able to get around or pull even on that high side, keeping it off the wall and using all kinds of momentum. Just like at Chicagoland Speedway, there is a whole lot that you can gain on the high side. These guys continue to duel it out.
John Osborne in the 8-1. He's sitting behind Stephen Brynock, the 12 and the 81 respectively, running 12th and 13th. Just up ahead, Jonah Bybee in that 4-5, a part of this fight as well. The only driver in pit road right now is Papa Bear Campbell in that 71, getting his repairs, his Eagle Feel-Goods as you would call it. Corey Blevins, first driver to come down pit road, newest driver to go purple with a 31.05, the fastest lap of the race. These drivers coming down rather early, Pete. They made it about 37 laps before they had to come down pit road. Meanwhile, the drivers at the front, like Matthew Boone and Zach Meredith, currently on their 38th, 39th lap of a green flag run, Pete. Lots of strategies. No way to tell who's doing what. At least I can't. I don't know if you can, buddy.
No, not right now. There's so much action going on, so many different people running different lines, different speeds. But I tell you what, I saw a lot of practice by people, probably more so than I've seen in quite a while, of people getting on the brakes and downshifting to get down to pit road speed without trying to lock them up. One thing that they're going to have to remember, and I'm guilty of doing it last year at Atlanta Motor Speedway and literally giving away the race, you want to make sure that if you have adjusted your brake bias, you put it back to where it was. Because if you downshift and you get on the brake and your brake bias is ill handling, you're gonna lock them up, and you might end up in that inside wall or possibly out in the grass, depending on which way the car kicks.
Explain for the fans at home brake bias, Pete. What is being adjusted and how does it affect the race car? Bybee on the way in. Jonah Bybee, the new guy, in for his first pit stop of the season, Pete. Go ahead.
All right, so right then you saw the 45 getting on a brake, really trying to hold it there, and basically what brake bias does, it helps the car turn, but at the same time it transfers just a little bit of weight. So if you have the brake bias set to maybe a little bit more to the left side, help you get down and stay in the corner, and then you don't change it when it comes time to pit and you get on the brakes, well, you've got a whole lot of extra weight to one side. You tag the brake, you downshift, and all of a sudden you could possibly spin out. So just very, very unfortunate, but just something that these guys have to be cognizant of as well.
You just saw the lead change there. Zach Meredith going ahead, Kyle Taub in that second spot, and they're looking to put Brad Rivers a lap down. Green flag pit stops well underway. Taub, he's going to take the lead under Zach Meredith. The 1-7 relinquishes first place. That's going to put Jose Ruiz in second. The blinking Nate Lehman sitting in third. So Kyle Taub, new leader under the green flag cycle. And it looks like all of the top 4 have yet to pit now. It's going to be a gamble to see how long these drivers can stay out. Taub leading Ruiz by 2.5 seconds. Then it's another 0.3 to Lehman, and Jeff No 8 seconds off the podium. Still waiting for all of these drivers to pit.
Yeah, Jeff No, he just had, I believe it was going to be the 24 that went screaming on by, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was the 24, and here comes Jeff No on the brakes. He's got to whoa it up and slow it up, otherwise you get a black flag. Good job by Stout Whiskey.
keeping it woed up, putting the binders on the front. John Osborne also coming into that second place, and Corey Blevins sitting in 6th right now. He pitted 7 laps before the rest of the field, so we're going to find out whether that's going to hinder or help Blevins. At the front, it's Nate Lehman who's now putting the brakes on his 1-4. He's coming down pit road. Corey Blevins coming around to get his laps back and reassume the lead, but he only has a 1-second advantage on Wisconsin's Matt Boone. Pete, it looks like this cycle is going to go through without incident, and now we get to see who behaves best on those new tires.
I'll tell you what, if you were one of the first ones to come on down pit road and you're thinking to yourself, man, I'm going to use up these tires, I'm going to make up as much time as I can on those that stayed out. You can do that, yeah, sure. If you're going to plan to back it down a little bit later on, I'd get out there. Yeah, you're going to naturally gain a little bit of speed, but I wouldn't abuse them. I think I heard somebody earlier turn 10 laps going as flat out as they could go, and they ended up coming down pit road, and there was like 83% left on the right front. That's just total abuse. That's going to ruin your entire, well, what would now be second run. So you just want to keep it consistent. If you've got the car that's fast, the one that's going to be competitive, and the one that could possibly be the one to beat, you'll have it there. You don't have to abuse them.
Bybee goes purple, 30.92. Jonah Bybee crossing the line 1 entire lap ago. He's sitting in the 16th position, but he's got the fastest lap of the race and the first driver to hit sub 31-second times. Byron Jones with his fastest lap, 31.08. Q-Dog also going green, his personal fastest with a 31.08 seconds. Corey Blevins still leading, but Matt Boone chasing him down right along with the Wisconsin pilot. Half a second is all that remains between him and the race leader.
Yeah, the 48 was very, very competitive all last season, and he's showing he can do it one more time. I mean, there hasn't been a single league or race where I've watched Corey Blevins, just really lay it out and put it all out there on the track. The man he's a comp beast, Rick.
That V8 of Matt Boone singing the high notes down to the inside, chasing down Corey Blevins, and he's within 1/10 of a second. Boone now to the inside. Blevins, can he defend that line? He's on the high side, but car 4-8 not strong enough to keep car 3-8 at bay just for now. The Wisconsin Camaro looks to the inside of the Blevins Design Camaro. These two arguing for the lead.
Yeah, if I was Blevins and I was able to keep right there with the 38, I'd actually get down right on his door. You want to keep him pinched down. That way the 38 of Matt Boone can't accelerate off the corner and use all kinds of track to complete that pass. Not this time, though. 38 of Matt Boone, he's got all that clean air. 48's got all kinds of dirty air on the hood of his Camaro. Now, Camaros are what? First, second, third, and fourth. The first Ford Mustang you'll find is Kyle Taub in P5.
In the 10th position, Byron Jones has a mirror full of Jake Millsap. The 0-2 of Andrew Baker, one of the rookies for this season, doing extremely well. We're about 20 laps away from the halfway mark, and Baker is in the 10th position right now with that 0-2 Blevins Design Chevy. Chris Murphy, he's in that 21, having that accident on lap number 5. Still holding his top 15 position very well. Drivers like Jeff No chasing down Enrique Quinones. Mike Allen in the number 88, recovering from surgery, in the seat once again. Good to see our friend Mike back on the racetrack. He's chasing down Brad Rivers for 23rd.
Yeah, going back through Brad Rivers, Mike Allen, Hunter Peach. In front of those guys is going to be Bill Hill, Stephen Brynock, and John Osborne. Definitely a little bit of a group with a whole lot of separation. Got some new guys in there, and you got some veterans as well.
The number 19, Millsap Graphics Chevrolet, Jake Millsap. Rounding out the top 10, he's behind Byron Jones. Pete, we saw this last night at Auto Club in the B-Water Series. The first pit stop cycle came and went, and after that, drivers felt possibly just a little bloated, just a little tired after their first pit stop meal. They all settled down and went single file, but now Zach Meredith, He's fighting hard with Kyle Taub just behind him. Cole Snyder's also in the mix, and they're getting around to the 10 of Ryan McCall.
Yeah, you see Cole Snyder with Shad Swatsworth just a little bit further back. Kyle Taub leading that 24 around, and Kyle's got Zach and Corey Blevins in front of him as they continue to duel it out, trying to find out who's going to take sole possession of P number 2.
That second place right now being argued between the 48 and the 17, but Blevins falling well behind, and Zach Meredith within 1.7 seconds. There you can see the illustration in the difference of 7 laps with these Goodyears. Matt Boone with a 2.3 second advantage over Corey Blevins. Zach Meredith is in third and just eating the time, just tenths at a lap. Jake Millsap getting overtaken by the 44 of Byron Jones. So it looks like the tires have settled in. Drivers have finally gotten used to how their car feels. What will a driver have learned in those first 60 laps, Pete? For example, let's pick on Q-Dog, Enrique Quiñones. He started in 16th. He's in 17th right now, and it looks insurmountable, but what can he learn?
Well, he would have learned after coming out of his pit stall exactly how he could remember how he pushed the car, what kind of positions he was able to make up, if he was being too conservative, how much harder he can push, and that's all by iRacing telling you what your tires were when they came off the car after the first green flag pit stop. So now he knows what he's going to have, and if he can go ahead and push a little bit harder, if he didn't have any real issues, if he wasn't down below 50%, I'd say by the end of the run, he should be pretty good. He's still got the 2-car Stout Whiskey, old Jeff No, right in his wake, so these two might be able to work together, gain a little bit of time. Q-Dog, again, I'm not used to him running in the back. I think he might be back here by a little bit of a plan, maybe a little bit of strategy, and Jeff knows right there with him.
Blevins to the inside, Meredith to the inside of Blevins, pardon me. This is for second. Kyle Taub just behind the both of them. Here's the 3-way fight for the silver medal spot. Cole Snyder in the 24 car. He's sitting in 6th behind Shad Swatsworth. They can smell the fumes on this 3-way fight up ahead. Just past the halfway mark, and if you've recently tuned in, I'm Rick James, joined by Pete Ruzick to my right-hand side. We're bringing you the season opener in the di9 Designs Turned Down for What Xfinity Series. Thanks so much for joining us. You have not missed too much. Andrew Baker, one of the new boys in the top 15 comfortably. Matt Boone running away with this lead. 4.20 seconds is quite the nice advantage, 64 laps in. Pete Boone last pitted on lap 47. According to what we saw this first time around, he could make it to about lap 107, but is he pushing it too hard, too fast? We don't know anything about how these tires are behaving. On particularly Boone's, what is this, 4.5 seconds? That's huge.
Oh, that's absolutely huge for here. And when he got up to Zach Meredith, he was able to get around and he started to set sail. Now, is that due to Zach Meredith kind of holding back to make sure that he's got the tires for the long run? Zach and Boehner are both very, very well known for for having that long run car. It could be exactly what the 17's doing. He says, what, you go ahead, I'll see you later.
Jeff No in the 16th position, chasing down Jonah Bybee. Let's ride along with the rear fenders of Bybee. He's watching that 2-car just creep in. No, right up the inside. He's got a great run out of turn number 4, using the apron now to get to the inside of Jonah Bybee. There's the battle for the top 15. Jeff No making good use of those tires.
Jeff No, he's able to get underneath the 45. 45 gave him plenty of room, and that's going to allow the 2 to grab a little bit of a whiff of draft from the 22 of Josh Arnold J-Pot. Both of those guys down low going into turns 3 and 4. Looks like 2's going to be able to stick it underneath the 22 one more time. Give that 2 car one more spot.
Sam Wade in the 11th spot. He's our hardest charger of the race, up 15 places from where he started, last pitting on lap 48. Rocky Top Wade in that Tennessee Volunteers Ford, trying to chase down Jake Millsap. He's up 3.5 seconds in the top 10. Meanwhile, in the top 2, Zach Meredith has a 1.5 tenth advantage over Kyle Taub. It's still 4 seconds ahead to Matt Boone. Corey Blevins still comfortably riding behind Shad Swatsworth. I like where the 48 is sitting, Pete. He pitted 7 laps ahead of the rest of the competition, and I don't know if he's conserving the tires or if he's really experiencing the fall off, but if he can use this draft to his advantage, he might just be able to get back on cycle. It's been a nice race for him so far, just past the halfway mark on lap 69. What does Blevins need to do to stay relevant?
I think what he's got to do is actually just do what he's doing right now. Just keep going at your pace. He's got a little bit of a buffer back to the 14 of Nate Lehman, and he's also got the 1 car Shad Swatsworth right in his right in his windshield. If he can keep up with this fast company, he'll do just fine. And Rick, I'm starting to watch him kind of migrate up the track a little bit. This is what we saw him do a little bit later in the run before he came on down pit road. We might start seeing some come down pretty soon for Ford brand new Eagle Feel Goods. Fill it up, and oh, by the way, chase the end of this race.
If drivers can make it to lap 80, you would think they'll try to go the rest of the distance on one more pit stop. Jeff Ledum in that 3.7, he's up 6 places from where he started, chasing down J. Paul Arnold, who started inside the top 10, currently running 13th. Cole Snyder's also on the march forward. He's got is that the 4.4? That is the 4.4. Byron Jones behind him in 9th. They're getting a bit tighter now, Pete. The draft is starting to take more of an effect, and it looks like drivers could be on a conservation run before this second pit stop cycle. 52 laps to go in this race at Las Vegas. Pete, it's been a great start to the season so far. Matt Boone's lead, however, starting to dwindle. Zach Meredith is within 4 seconds.
Yeah, Zach Meredith, he was sitting like 4.1, 4.2 seconds, now down to 3.7, and a little bit of fluctuation there. So could it be that the 38, he's got a bank on these next 7 or 8 laps, really just maintaining. He's got to try to keep Zach Meredith behind him. Now 3.6, 3.7 seconds. But Boone has just a little bit of help. He's got Hunter Peach right in front of him in that M&M's Toyota. Can he grab his draft? Can he, continue to pull him forward? The 17's got some help back there in Kyle Taub, but Kyle's behind him. He's not exactly pulling him around the track.
Boone now looking to the outside of Hunter Peach. That's last year's runner-up, Hunter Peach, running in the 24th position right now, just 1 lap down. Not the start Hunter Peach wanted, but still 50 laps to go next time by. Plenty of opportunity for Hunter to make up that distance. At the front, Matt Boone with a 3.7 second advantage. He's 30 laps on these tires now, and to me, Pete, the magic number is going to be lap 83 for some of these drivers, Boone, Meredith, Taub. But even then, I personally wouldn't want to finish this race on tires that are 40 laps old. If it were you, Pete, when the caution comes out, what's your cutoff point to say, no, track position is more important than getting off these old tires?
If the caution was to fly now or in the next 2 laps on down pit road, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They would just be handling very, very ill machines when the time comes. Or if it comes to where they can't make it on fuel and they've got to come down, you can imagine some people might try just right side tires and just enough fuel, or settle for track position, just grab a splash and go. We'll have to see.
Nate Lehman blinking out of control once again. This is the same problem he had last night where he was invisible. There he has that terrible blinking once again. This can't inspire any confidence in Shad Swatsworth behind him and Jose Ruiz being held hostage by the poor internet connection from Nate Lehman in the 5th and 6th position respectively. Lehman nowhere to be found, just bouncing all up and down that running order. Car 14 disappearing for more than a lap at a time, Pete. This can't be safe or very courteous to the competition behind him.
That's got to be completely unnerving. They would actually hope that a caution would come out. Usually with some kind of an issue like that, if it doesn't rectify itself fairly soon, they would actually issue an EOL to the driver and move on. Very, very unfortunate for the 14. He was very strong last season. I think he finished top 5 in points, but he's got to go ahead and get that rectified. You know, but what do you do? Some people say, man, I only have the problem when I'm on iRacing. I don't have any issues streaming. I don't have any issues doing anything else. It's just on iRacing, like what we used to see on Xbox.
Jose Ruiz in that 2-3, looking out the front window of this DuPont Chevrolet, you can see that the 14 has absolute zero stability in his internet connection at the moment. Hopefully he gets that sorted. Ruiz in the 4th spot, well, when Nate Lehman's not there. Kyle Taub making moves, Pete. He's to the inside of Zach Meredith right before the start of pit stop cycles. He's going for 2nd.
Kyle Taub, he's been stalking this 17 lap after lap. It seems like for 25 or 30 laps as we're getting further and further into this run. Well, now it's time to go ahead, and it's the changing of the guard. Now the 16's got to hope maybe he can catch up to the 38. I think that ship has sailed, though, Rick. We were just saying that these guys were 3.7. We're back now over 4 seconds one more time.
Just outside the 35 lap to go mark, Jake Millsap in that 19 Millsap Graphics Chevy. He's looking to the inside of Byron Jones for a spot in the top 9. Chad Swatsworth now behind that 2-3 of Ruiz, possibly just saving whatever space he's got left in case he needs to make a quick decision. So far, no one coming down pit road, Pete. And
wreck.
where's the wreck? Where's the crash?
48, 44, and the 19.
And there it is, big crash at a turn number 4. You called it. Everybody driving through smoke, trying to avoid these cars. That looks like Jake Millsap, who's been involved in the 19. We were just looking at Millsap and the most recent yellow, caution number 2, coming out with 44 laps remaining. And now the pit stop story just got way more interesting. Let's have a look. Lap 79, Jake Millsap has an incident. Millsap to the inside. He's got the 44 just running on his outside, and that's Corey Blevins in the 48. Looks like he was slowing down on his way into pit road. Corey, he was still on the racing surface as he's slowing his hot rod down. Let's have a look. This is in turn 1. Let's speed this up just a bit. Blevins is going to make his entrance down pit road. Have a look and to listen. So Blevins is on the apron here, and naturally he's going to slow his race car down. Nope, this is the lap prior because I can't get this timing right. Can't believe it. All right, let's go to Corey Blevins. There he is. Again, the lap prior. Anyway, we'll speed this up. There's Blevins. He announces his way onto pit road by diving down to the left-hand side. Now watch the 19 of Millsap. Oh, Blevins just slowing down right in front of Millsap. Nowhere for the 44 car to go. Byron Jones really getting the brunt of that one there. Let's have a look. There's Millsap once again. Jones with nowhere to go. Wrong place, wrong time for the 19 and the 44. And Rocky Top Wade just getting through this one. Let's ride along with Rocky Top Wade and see how he avoided this accident. Pete, is there anything the 48 could have done?
I really can't say because the commitment line for each is really dependent upon how fast you come off of the corner. Can you slow up anymore, or you're just going to get run over earlier? Was Blevins trying to say, "Hey, I'm going in, I'm going in," and he just had the 19 too close to his back bumper, and Millsap couldn't turn to the right fast enough because he had the 44 to his outside. Just very, very unfortunate. But Rick James, these guys are going to be going back green at about lap 83, 84. They're inside that window you were talking about just a little bit ago.
One more look at Sam Wade, who avoided that accident. Have a look in car 27. Oh, we're way ahead here. Let's have a look with Sam Wade. Just avoiding car 44, scooting to the inside of car 48, and that there earns Sam Wade his own Cole Trickle move of the race.
Ice cream.
So cars come down pit road. Zach Meredith being scored as our race leader under yellow. We're going to take a 60-second break, and we'll be back with more racing and the final 30 laps from virtual Las Vegas. Back at iRacing's Las Vegas Motor Speedway, we're going to restart with 29 laps to go from the 1.5-mile oval in the desert. Zach Meredith leading Kyle Taub on the inside. One-handed Baron in the chat says, love the replays, my man. Dale Fan 8 says, what the heck, wondering what happened there. Tree Wade saying, nice driven, talking about himself in that 2.7. So 29 laps to go is what we'll have when we get the green. Zach Meredith will be the control car to the inside of Kyle Taub. Almost everybody last pitting on lap 81 there. Matter of fact, Bill Hales, the only driver not to come down. Hales injured from a previous accident. So we're going to line up 2 by 2, 14 rows deep at Las Vegas. Zach Meredith waiting for the pace car to peel off. Kyle Taub on the outside, the rookie sitting in second, waiting for that signal. Zach Meredith looking to peel off. Green flag is out. Let's go racing from Vegas. Apparently my battery's low. Zach Meredith still leads. There you've got Kyle Taub in second, Matt Boone rolling in third, Pete Jose Ruiz fighting for fourth.
Yeah, Nate Lehman right behind him. Shad Swatsworth looks like he's going to be able to go ahead and grab that spot, putting him into the top 5. Jeff Lednam, Nate Lehman, Cole Snyder, Sam Wade, Mike Allen. How about him? You talked about him a little bit ago after his surgery, able to come on back in right now, fighting for a top 10.
How about Mike Allen, up 13 places from where he started, second only to Rocky Top Wade in that 2.7, recovering from lung surgery, fighting in the top 10. Glad to have my friend Mike back in the race, and no matter what, Pete, you know, we go on forever about how this is more than just a game, it is a family, and we really do care about our friends, and I'm so happy. It does my heart good to see my buddy back with his hobby, back with people that love him, outside of his immediate family, obviously. It's just good to see just a little bit of normal returning to our friends.
Absolutely. He's back there in that number 88, rocking right behind the 48 of Blevins. But look at this 26. Moving on up, hoping that if another caution will come out, maybe he can go ahead and grab that lap back. Still fighting his way through in that number 26 Toyota.
The M&M's Supra, to be exact. Hunter Peach in that 2.6 to the inside of Papa Bear Campbell. Behind this Hornet's Nest involving the 8.1 of John Osborne. The 6.9 of Brad Rivers in the Busch Beer Car. J. Paul Arnold in the 2.2 Southern Beverage Ford. Now on the outside of New Kid. The 0-2, Steven Brynock, another one of the new drivers, rocking in the top 20. Zach Meredith starting to peel away from Kyle Taub. Single file now, Pete, but we're approaching the final 25 laps of action. How soon will drivers wait to make that jump? Because if it stays green to the end, I can't see anybody coming down pit road.
No, I don't either. I think everybody's beds are made unless the caution was to come out right about now. You can't really go hard and push it because there is still a long run from the time that these guys were last down pit road. It's not like it's a 10 or 15 or maybe even a 20 lap shootout, give or take. We're still talking a decent sized run to the end of this one here from Las Vegas.
Chad Swatsworth in that number 1, sitting ahead of Jose Ruiz, the 2-3, holding off Jeff Lednam, who's up 14 places from his original starting spot. The 2-2 of J. Paul Arnold looking on the outside. Arnold sitting in the 17th position, 1 lap down. He's got a lot of work to do, but he's chipping away one by one. Further on back through the field, Hunter Peach now on the outside of Andrew Baker. Peach inside the top 20. And it'll be 27, I think. Actually, nope. Is it? I have no idea, Pete. How many laps to go is it next time by? 26, 27? We're winding down. Well, I can't math. Jeff knows at 11.
We are absolutely winding down. Yeah, we're working rather. Lap 91 of 123, so we are absolutely getting there, and that 26 is going to have to lay on the throttle if he wants to try to catch J-Pa in order to be in that lucky dog position if a caution should happen to come out. So we'll have to see, but so far, Rick, I'll tell you what, I've been very, very pleased with the great racing so far here in the season opener for this Turn Down for What Xfinity season.
2 yellows in 92 laps. These boys are doing incredibly well. I think we were talking about that earlier. It's a good group of fellas, and it's great to see such a full turnout. 28 entrants starting and still participating in this race. Kyle Taub with a mirror full of Matt Boone. Let's ride around with the new boy for 1 lap around Las Vegas. He's sitting in second. Taub enters turn 3 behind Zach Meredith in the lead. Meredith chasing down the 2-2 of J. Paul Arnold, who's got his lap back in that Budweiser Ford, and the 1-7 National Guard Chevrolet looking out for the rookie that's right behind him, Pete. It's inside 26 laps remaining.
I tell you what, Kyle Taub's definitely putting this series on notice, saying, hey, I am here, I'm a competitor, you can look forward to me every single week. Right now, though, Zach Meredith, Kyle Taub, Matt Boone, your top 3, Chad Swatsworth, and Jose Ruiz, your pole sitter right now running P5.
Grandpa Coey behind Jonah Bybee, that number 4-5 Monster Supra rocking in the top dozen. Nate Lehman still holding on strong despite the fact that the 14 car has had internet issues. He looks a bit more stable now, battling for the top 10. Dale Fan 8 says, love watching you, do your best. Talking about Yotes King in the chat, who got wrecked out earlier, says hopefully next week he'll do better. He says he needs a new horseshoe, and he's chasing on Jeff No in that top 10. Rocky Top Wade currently battling with No for the 9th spot.
Yeah, Jeff No actually came on down pit road just before these guys went green, so he's doing a phenomenal job. I'm pretty sure he just topped off the gas tank. I don't know if he decided, you know what, it's our last set of tires, I'm going to go all out. If it happens to go green, I'm just going to stay. If I get a caution, I'll stay, as he flies around the outside of that 27.
Great shot on the fender of Jeff No, getting around Rocky Top Wade, doing it the hard way. He gets into the 9th spot, and he's up 9 places from where he started this race. Zach Meredith with a mirror full of Kyle Taub, the rookie, looking on the inside line. 97 laps now underway. We're approaching the final quarter. Taub to the inside, the rookie, tugging on the veteran's cape. Pete, where does the experience come into factor? What will Kyle Taub be lacking? It certainly won't be speed, but where can Boone and Meredith take advantage over car 16?
What they're doing right now, they kind of got him boxed in, but you see the 38 all over that outside door of the 16. He's not allowing him to get on the throttle and be able to kind of flatten out the curve, as you know, you might have heard many times before. He's keeping right on that door, so he's not able to get back in the throttle right when he wants to, really able to accelerate off the corner. Otherwise, he ends up into the 38. And there you go, 38's going to be able to complete the pass. Now a challenge for the lead.
Matt Boone, the Wisconsin native, to the inside of Zach Meredith, the number 17 National Guard Chevrolet, falling off that lead pace. Boone to the inside. Can he make it stick? He won't. Meredith will lead lap 97, and we have 25 circuits remaining from Las Vegas. Boone doesn't give up. Taub following Boone, Swatsworth and Ruiz all within suit. Meredith left out to dry on the high side, Pete, and drivers are using the draft now to play chess at 186 miles an hour. 2-4 to go.
You can go ahead and play chess all you want, but one thing you got to think about, Rick, with 24 laps remaining, you cannot just throw the car into the corner. You can't just throw all caution to the wind and just go hard. You still got a lot of laps to be able to preserve your car and be there at, you know, that final lap coming off turn 4. We've seen many great races, you know, 2 and 3 wide coming off 4. Could we see that again tonight as you see the 17 looking to the inside of the 38?
Zach Meredith trying to get Matt Boone for first, trying to do what Boone did to him 1 lap ago. Kyle Taub following in that distance, and these drivers just opening themselves to more competition. 23 circuits remain. Meredith to the inside. This isn't good for this conservation strategy, Pete. If they keep racing like this, they might not be able to go the distance. We're going to be asking these drivers to go 42 laps without pitting. It's a stretch, and we'll see who's got conservation in mind.
I'll tell you what, I think the one car, Shad Swatsworth, he might be in the catbird seat. He's watching these 3 battle, you know, lap after lap after lap. The 23, Jose Ruiz, right behind him. But as the 16, the 17, and the 38 swap spots, you know, they're swapping lines. The one is just staying there. The best thing that Shad can do is just stay in their draft. Don't push it. That way, when these guys are done fighting and their tires are all done, they've used up every last bit of good rubber, he could try to get on by. He's not losing the lead. He's not losing the leader, I should say. He's staying right there with him.
Riding along with Jose Ruiz in the number 24 Rainbow Warrior Chevrolet. The Sacktown native on the back end of the top 5, trying to get a good start in his campaign. Did a good job last night in the B-Water Series driving this exact livery, and he's trying to bring that rainbow paint scheme to the front. At the front, Matt Boone has a 0.2 of a second advantage over Zach Meredith. It'll be 2-0 to go, then 1-9 at the line. Further on back, Pete, it looks like a lot of these drivers have spread out, except for Rocky Top Wade. He's battling with Mike Allen for a spot in the top 10.
Yeah, Mike Allen right now sitting P11. He was P10 last time I saw him. Nate Lehman right in front of these 2. But yeah, Sam Wade doing a pretty good job. He's got a really solid bead on staying inside the top 10. He's got to try to keep Mike Allen right behind him. But I'll tell you what, that's a pretty nice looking 88.
Gorgeous looking race car, up 12 spots from where he started. Nate Lehman with a stable internet connection now on the inside of Jeff No. Lehman, who was blinking for a lap at a time before that last yellow flag, seems to finally have gotten his internet under control, chasing down Corey Blevins. He's up 0.8 of a second. Blevins involved in that last accident. He's 0.8 behind Jeff Lednum. Lednum, our second biggest hard charger behind Rocky Top Wade. He's up, 14 places.
Bless you, my buddy. Yeah, 37 in that Shelby Mustang GT. I tell you, Jeff Lednum, he impresses me every single week. It used to have internet issues like what we've seen here tonight out of others, but he was able to get it all rectified, and the man has been on a mission every single race. Every time he gets on the track, he's got something to prove, or so it seems.
The 3.8 of Matt Boone, the Rhinelander Wisconsin pilot, catching up to the McGee, Mississippi native. Josh Arnold to you in that 17th position, rocking the 2.2 Southern Beverage Company Ford, trying to stay on the lead lap, but if he does succumb to the leader, he will be the first car one lap down. John Osborne being scored out of this race, coming down pit road, not sure, or no, I'm sorry, out of pit road, not being scored out of this race. I read the word out, and I got it completely wrong. But this could be the start of our final pit stop cycles, Pete. Osborne sitting in 22nd. It could open the floodgates for more.
It could, but you know what? If he does happen to be the only one that goes on down pit road, I don't think he's going to have fresh enough rubber to charge his way through the field. As now you see the 38, he's got a beat on the 22. Going to go ahead and try to get under and put J-Pop a lap or back another lap. And the 38, he can't just allow the 22 to stay in his way. That's a whole lot of dirty air as he again looks to try to get underneath. And oh, by the way, the 17 right there, that is a team member, or a teammate rather, for that double deuce.
3-8 ahead of the 1-7, ahead of the 1-6, half a second behind Shad Swatsworth with Jose Ruiz in tow. Now Matt Boone leading with 15 laps to go. Zach Meredith behind it by 0.2 of a second. Meredith, what's the strategy for him, Pete? He's got to use the draft to stay there, but certainly that's where he wants to be because he's going to need the tires and the fuel, like Boone.
Yeah, he's gonna need it. He's gonna need it all. He needs. It seems like he might need a little bit more car in order to get up to that 38. But the 22, staying up on the high side, he gave these guys all kinds of room. So big, great job to J-Pod, Josh Arnold, for letting the leaders go ahead and fight it out. The 38, he might have worn out a little bit more of his stuff than he wanted to on that low line, but still, great job.
Lucky number 13 laps to go this time by, Pete. Boone, Meredith, Taub, your top three. Who's going to blink first? You imagine from here, no excuses. You're going to the end of this race, whether you have the fuel or not.
Yeah, with 14 laps remaining, they all came down inside their pit window to be able to make it to the end. What's going to be the real question is what kind of a handling car are they going to have when that last lap comes?
Matt Boone, 0.4, now 0.3 ahead. White Walker, 86, a.k.a. Kurt Swatsworth, says, let's go Boone, Shad, Honcho, and Murphy. He's got his favorites in the chat, and if you've just tuned in, fantastic timing. Lucky number 13 laps becomes a dozen circuits to go. Matt Boone leading by 3.5. Zach Meredith with enough of the draft to catch up to Boone, but it looks like the 38 is squeezing that gas pedal just a bit harder, Pete. A dozen laps left, 11 to go next time.
Yeah, Rick, it wasn't too long. It was actually right about this time earlier when we saw the 16 get on by the 17 and start to put a little bit of a gap on Zach Meredith. But this time, the 38, he's not 4 seconds ahead. If that 16 can get on by the 17 and start to work his magic, we might have a great battle for the lead when that white flag comes out.
10 to go next time. Down the front straight, Corey Blevins is on the inside of Nate Lehman. Those two wrestling for the 6th spot. The Blevins Design Chevrolet involved in an accident earlier, trying to make his resurrection and start the season off on the right foot. Into turn 3, Pete, it's Zach Meredith ahead of Kyle Taub, and they're watching Matt Boone sail off into the Las Vegas sunset.
Yeah, now a good 0.3 ahead, 17, 16, and 38. 38 looking to try to lock down a win very early in the season. Next time by 10 laps remaining. Rick James, we're in Vegas. Who's your money on?
9 at the line. Matt Boone leading this race. I did not expect the 38 to come through with such a strong, consistent performance, but you'd be silly not to save some of your chips for the 3-8. Long odds, car 2-3. Jose Ruiz, he's been backing down just a bit, possibly making sure he's got enough Sunoco fuel to go the distance. Shad Swatsworth in the 4. Another one of the long odds that will pay dividends if you get the numbers right. Pete, 8 to go next time by. Who you got?
I'll tell you what, I think this one he might have been saving just enough to try to get up there. He's got a little bit of a pull now from the back end of that double deuce. 17 and 16, they're right there in front of that 22. I don't know if Shad's going to have enough time, but the one is looking really strong.
The double ocho. Mike Allen in that 8-8, sitting 13th right now, 7 seconds ahead of Jim Coey, 2 seconds behind Jeff No. Cole Snyder chasing down Chris Murphy by 0.6 on the back end of the top 10. 7 laps to go. Next time by, half a second is the gap between first and second, Pete. Zach Meredith watching Matt Boone run away with this one. Kyle Taub in the bronze medal position, but he's blinking. The internet starting to let him down. Swatsworth smells blood in the water. 7 laps left.
Yeah, Swat's now looking at the inside of the double deuce, try to get on up there and see if he can actually get on by either Zach Meredith or Kyle Taub, or maybe both. It's very, very possible this one will be paying a visit to the booth in our podium positions at the end of this race.
Into the first corner, Rocky Top Wade up 18 places from where he started, and he's got the hard charger written all over him if he can survive another 7 laps. But will the fuel survive? We're asking the drivers to go 42 laps to go the distance. Taub has been drafting behind Meredith the entire time, and is it go time for the 1-6 now? Meredith languishing by 0.6 into the first corner. Pete, out of 2, Taub will have a run.
I was absolutely going to have a run a little bit lower than his 17. Going to pull right up on his back bumper, maybe even give him a little bit of a shot. Nope, he's going to juke and jive to the inside, going low.
Taub in the 1-6 to the inside of Meredith in the 1-7. Will Meredith give him the crossover out of turn number 4? 5 laps to go. The 1-7 of Zach Meredith trying to bring those National Guard colors onto the podium. Taub, the rookie, second in his first turn down for what Xfinity appearance. Swatsworth getting closer. Ruiz falling behind. Chris Murphy involved in that first accident, just losing his top 10 spot to Cole Snyder. Still so much to fight for, Pete. Matt Boone has a 9/10 lead in turn 3.
Tell you what, paying attention to the guy that's sitting P12 right now, Jeff No. I mentioned earlier that he ducked on pit road just before we went back green. If these guys have had to conserve any kind of fuel, or if they've got to slow down, he might just have enough to maybe crack the top 10 if anybody's got to jet down pit road in order to save their race. We'll have to see if Jeff No can have any kind of luck with that, even though he's got a little bit of damage on the right side.
Out of 2, Zach Meredith in the 1-7. Looks like he's in conservation mode, Pete. He does not have enough to go the distance, or the tires have failed him. Meredith sliding back, and Swatsworth looking to take advantage. 3 to go, and Shad Swatsworth has a run out of 4.
Yeah, Shad all over the back of this National Guard number 17 Camaro. It's actually a pretty nice looking car for 17, where everybody's so used to seeing that double 8 on there. But the 16, he has gapped the 17 of Zach Meredith just a little bit. Now just 0.7 of a second up to P1.
2 to go next time. Chris Murphy is in, and the 21 cannot make it. So the offer pad Supra comes down pit road. Keep your eye on who's going to wiggle, Pete. 2 laps to go. Matt Boone leading by 0.7. Kyle Taub with a 0.7 advantage, and here goes Zach Meredith. He's lost third to Shad Swatsworth, less than 3 miles, Pete.
Having to save a whole lot of gas. This is exactly what we were just talking about. One's able to get by 17.
Keep going, Pete. Blevins is in. Keep going.
Oh, Blevins is in 17. You were able to see the flames shooting out the right-hand side of this Camaro, and now he's going to have to give up that position to the 23 of Jose Ruiz. Ruiz hard charged around the outside.
Jose Ruiz getting around that 17, who looks like he's going to coast. White flag is in the air, and it's fewer than 1.5 miles to Matt Boone if he has the gas. Kyle Taub within 6 seconds. Boone coasting now to the inside of that number 7 Duke Chevrolet. Fewer than 1 mile remains for the Wisconsin pilot. Andrew Baker, Jake Millsap, Enrique Quinones, multiple drivers having to come down pit road, including Corey Blevins, Chris Murphy, Jonah Bybee. He could coast to the end here. Rhineland, Wisconsin's Matt Boone has the fuel to make it, and the gamble pays off. Boone gets the season opening win at Las Vegas.
Big congratulations to that 38 of Matt Boone. NNR Bowling, he proved himself on console, proved himself in previous seasons here and turned down for what on iRacing, proves himself one more time tonight. He's got the checkers from Las Vegas. Man, could season 4 belong to this 38? We'll have to see.
His old Xbox gamer tag, NNR Bowling, is what he goes by to those that know. Kyle Taub, the rookie, offering congratulations, as does Shad Swatsworth in car number 1. Unofficially, Boone with the dub. Kyle Taub in second, Shad Swatsworth in third, Jose Ruiz in fourth. Nate Lehman, despite the catastrophic internet connections, comes home in fifth. Zach Meredith sixth, Rocky Top Wade in seventh. He's got the Hard Charger Award of 19 places from where he started. Cole Snyder in 8th, Jeff Lednum in 9th, and Grandpa Coey rounding out the top 10. Fans at home, stay put. We're going to have top 3 interviews in just a moment. Your winner tonight in Sin City, Matt Boone. On the podium now with Shad Swatsworth, gaining some superpowers after the birth of his new child with a first podium. It's a bronze medal for Shad, driver of that number 1 Tracker Boats Chevy. Great way to start the season, SS.
Yeah. I wanted to try to get a top 5. Vegas isn't one of my best tracks. Didn't have anything for Bolin or Meredith, but I think he ran out of fuel or tires burnt off at the end. But definitely happy to come away with the top 3.
Next week, we're going to Atlanta Motor Speedway. What are the chances of getting another podium there?
Absolutely 0. I'll be on night shift working that day.
No worries, buddy. But still a good start to the season. Congratulations on that 3rd place finish. Repeat, you've got our 2nd place finisher, some kid no one's ever heard of.
All right, Kyle Talbot, Pete, you got a copy, buddy?
Yes, I do, Pete.
Man, I'll tell you what, it seemed like if it wasn't for green flag pit stops, we saw you in the top 5 all night. You had one hell of a long run car. Seemed like you were battling with Zach Meredith and Matt Boone, all 120 plus laps. What more did you need?
I just need to get around that 17, but 10 laps earlier, and I might have had a shot there.
Well, it's gonna be a P2 finishing position for you on race number 1. What can we look forward to from car 16 for the rest of the season?
Hopefully consistent top 5s. That's my goal.
That'll get you a whole lot of points every single week. Congratulations on your runner-up, Rick James. di9, you want to look for Mr. Boone?
There we go. Our race-winning interview brought to you by the good folks over at di9, the Chase Elliott custom graphic design page on Twitter, Facebook, and Insta at di9 Designs, posting graphics on all platforms multiple times a week on top of taking requests on all types of logos, Chase Elliott wallpapers, iRacing schemes, and more. Follow and DM them for more details. They are not affiliated with Hendrick Motorsports or Chase Elliott. Be sure to use code di9 Designs for free shipping on your diecast and merch orders over $20 on CircleBDiecast.com. And now the winner. Driver of the number 38 Wisconsin Badgers Chevrolet Camaro, Matt Boone starts the season off on the right foot. He's got the W at Las Vegas. Boone, well done. Great race tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Where did that come from? Because it looked like fuel and tires were going to be very, very important at the end. Did the conservation come into play?
Yeah, so I didn't conserve anything. I mean, I was in the wake of the 17 there for a while on that last run. Honestly, the last 4 laps, I had to use the clutch going around the corners, but I didn't lose any time, so it worked out perfectly. If I didn't use the clutch, I wouldn't have won, and I wouldn't be talking to you right now.
Next week at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, we're heading down to another 1.5 mile track for a similar distance, but it's a much different shape. What can we expect out of car 38 in a week?
Hopefully expect me to be right back in this booth and in that number 1 position. That'd be nice.
We'll see 7 days from now. For now, Matt, go celebrate, buddy. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
That's going to do it for us tonight. Pete, great show at Las Vegas. Great first race in this 3rd season of competition.
Absolutely. Great to see Matt Boone go ahead and grab that W. Good to see Shad up there. And, man, Kyle Taub, who would have known?
The new kid, right? Making waves. Good to see that racing is back and we're getting back into the swing of things. Fans at home, Thursday night, the Thursday Night Thunder Series, TNT as it's known, takes to the Bristol Motor Speedway right here on Rick James TV, so stick around for that. And then next Monday, we go with 3 races to go. The Be Water, Be Fast Series, also right here on Rick James TV 1. Until that next race, everybody, please stay safe. Do take care of each other, and we will see you